All right, Monday, August 21st. Good morning. It's good to see you once again. Thanks for coming on back to the Damon Bruce Show here on the Pluce, baby. I almost said exclusively, but I don't want to get into that habit, and I got to get out of that habit even if I were into it, because beginning in September, this show will also be streaming on AMP, which is the Amazon Prime app, which is pretty darn cool. It's going to let us do a post-game show for every show where we can play some music and actually talk to each other, and that is beginning in September. Looking forward to all that, and when I am looking forward to football season getting here, and what do we know? Today is YouTube show number 97, by the way. We'll have a very special guest on Thursday for show number 100, none other than Mrs. Pluce herself. Gillian will be joining me for the entirety of a show, and we're going to be updating you on what's going on and where we're going. And unfortunately, Ray, who was the big plan for the big 100th show, couldn't make it. So needless to say, a more lovely understudy there has never been than Mrs. Pluce, who will be joining us on Thursday. But today is show number 97. And look, I'm just throwing this out to the universe. Nick Bosa wears number 97. Let's get that done. Right, let's get that done. It is officially time to get that done. Just putting that out there. The Steelers are showing up on the schedule in 21 days. We are 3 weeks away from the football for real. You're going to want Nick Bosa in. I saw Tom Pelissero on the Rich Eisen show basically said, look, both sides continue to talk with the mutual goal of getting this thing done before the start of the regular season. Yeah, I would hope so. His fines are all rescindable, so it's not like holding out is going to cost him anything. And again, holding him out to this point is probably good for his body, good for business. He's not someone who needs a lot of preseason anything. Nick Bosa comes in better shape than most people will ever be in their entire lives. So there's no concern. But you do want some banging around on a football field for a couple of weeks before you start doing it for real. You cannot simulate NFL impact. So let's get him out there. Pelissero goes on to say there's no reason that he shouldn't be a very, very rich man prior to the start of the season. Again, I don't know if you're going to want to go north of Aaron Donald's annual average value. If I were an NFL player, I wouldn't care about anything other than guaranteed dollars. That's it. Make sure Nick Bosa's contract comes with the most guaranteed dollars to ever be guaranteed to a defensive player, and somewhere in that neighborhood, there is a deal to be struck. So get it done. This is the week to get it done. When I was speaking with Larry Krueger last week about when it might get done, he offered up, this is the kind of deal that they maybe even announced during the middle of this 49ers-Broncos game, which was Saturday night. Well, that didn't happen. So get it done. What did happen on Saturday night, and boy, I really hope those of you who are in the age bracket to appreciate today's thumbnail. A little Threes Company. You had three quarterbacks right there on the Threes Company living room set. I mean, I'm new at the thumbnail game. I thought that was a pretty good one on my part. I was impressed by myself. I hope you were too. Look, all three quarterbacks played well on Saturday. It really was like the worst case scenario for all your morning talk shows and everyone who's got to kill time by creating drama where there really isn't one. I mean, come on, man. All three quarterbacks played well. What Kyle Shanahan wanted to see from all three, I think he saw from all three. Everyone should be really happy. They need to stop rooting for their own horse in the race and just start rooting for the 49ers if you're a fan. And let me tell you, having three guys that can play the position is a really good thing for the 49ers to have. I thought that there was one throw out there Purdy might have let go, but he didn't. But still, he was mechanical in his execution, which is a good thing. I'm not using that as a bad term. He was fantastic. The 49ers looked a little bit of an offensive machine out there with Purdy just making all the smart, right plays to the easily open, easily fed player that picks up yards after the fact. So Purdy looked good. And then Sam Darnold came out there, and even though he was efficient, he wasn't putting together sustained drives. And so Shanahan wanted to see more. In the only real surprise of the actual Broncos game, Sam Darnold not only came in for Purdy right away after one series, he stayed out there longer than most, I think, assumed, certainly more than what Team Lance wanted to see. And you could feel by the middle of that third quarter, the internet just ginning up all sorts of where is Trey Lance questions and anger, and this is ridiculous, and why is Darnold getting so much run? Well, there's a reason why Darnold's getting an awful lot of run. It's because he's pretty good. I mean, it's just that simple. He is experienced. He has more NFL experience than both of the guys that are in his quarterback room. He's got more experience than Purdy, much less Trey Lance. And I think that more than anything else, Kyle Shanahan trusts him to not make the mistake. It's weird. When you approach a game plan for a backup quarterback, you're more interested in reducing mistakes than increasing opportunities for excellence. And I just think that Sam Darnold reduces an opportunity for mistakes in a way that Trey Lance can't be presumed to. And that is not a strike against Trey Lance. You know, you can't sneeze at experience, or you can't necessarily underestimate inexperience, I guess would be another kind of way to say it. Purdy, he looked good. Darnold looked good, engineered a scoring drive. And then Trey Lance, after a whole bunch of people were upset that he wasn't getting the lion's share of the work in the second half, he actually threw more passes than the other two quarterbacks, and he engineered two scoring drives to essentially nearly tie the game, but for that goofy two-point conversion, which was Brandon Ayuk's fault. It was happening from the 17-yard line. Ran out on the field to celebrate in street clothes. Can't do that. And then he engineers the game-winning field goal, and Trey Lance looked good at the end of the game. Now, there were two passes officially that I'm sure he wished he could have had back, could have been interception, but weren't. Didn't happen. Not much to complain about I just want to complain about everything I see with the 49ers crowd on a Monday morning. There were certainly other players that flashed a little bit on Saturday night, a few others who didn't, and we're going to go through them here in a little bit. But really good night for the 49ers, all things considered. And it was basically somewhat an injury-free game, and we'll get into the details of that in just a moment. But here's to you. Good to have you back here on a Monday. Not yet. I'm sorry. I saw some over-unders on the sip of the day. You got to stop going public with your sip of the day over-unders. You need to start a little group me if you're really wagering on these things. That was close, though. Oh, we're getting teases. We're getting teases. I'm okey doking people out there in the chat. Still unofficial. Let me tell you what is official, though. I really mean this. And here's something I've never said out loud in my life, much less into a microphone for other people to consume. I had a fantastic vegetarian sandwich over the weekend. My man Ike has the Florin and the Arrow, his two new specialty sandwiches. Now, the Arrow is a Wagyu pastrami sandwich, which is outstanding and does all the things you would want a Wagyu pastrami sandwich from Ike's to do, mostly be delicious while you're eating it. The Florin, which is an all-vegetarian option, has a level of Beyond Meat on this thing, which I swear to God, eating it individually, picking it out of the sandwich and just trying it, you would have had me fooled. You really would have, and nobody is a bigger I don't like vegetarian food snob than me. It is the best vegetarian sandwich I have ever had, and if he didn't tell people it wasn't real meat, I don't know if anyone would have glommed on to that it was a vegetarian sandwich. It was outstanding. Get yourself to Ike's. Whatever sandwich you want to get, while the premium sandwiches are up there for a limited time only, I suggest you try them, and I can't believe this. Try the vegetarian option. This bulgogi, not beef, Florin is spectacular. It really is. It's great. I feel like I need to like reboot the system here, but it's the truth. Thanks so much to our friends at Blackened. I certainly enjoyed a little of that over the weekend after doing the first 49er post-game show that I've done in a decade almost. Went upstairs, chin-chinned, and celebrated a little bit, and it was fun. Nice response from the audience. I had several hundred people in there watching at any particular time, and we're very, very happy with the audience that we are building and growing over here, and I thank you for all of that. So a little cheers and Blackened whiskey for all of you. And then, of course, if you are in the mood for a burger, you get yourself to the Inner Richmond. You get yourself to Uncle Boy's, bouncing back from a break-in just a couple of weeks ago. Take care of your neighbors. If you live in San Francisco in the Inner Rich, go to Uncle Boy's. Get yourself a great burger, the lumpia, the onion rings. You will be happy that you did. Again, you could feel Team Lance getting angry, but then a lack of opportunity to play later or earlier in the game gave Trey Lance the chance to put on the Superman cape and win the game for the 49ers. Like, it all worked out really, really well. And as the old saying goes, don't count the reps. Just make the reps count. How many times do you think Kyle Shanahan leaves Levi Stadium thrilled with everything he saw, right? He pretty much had to be thrilled with everything he saw from his three quarterbacks in that game. And I don't know if there was any evidence that means anyone leapfrogged in front of anyone or fell back of anyone in terms of quarterbacking depth chart, but it was a good night of football. It was a good night of football from what is lining up to be a pretty good football team. There's no doubt. No doubt about that. Purdy, his starting cameo, went really, really well. He had Deebo and Ayuk out there. We didn't see Christian McCaffrey. We didn't see George Kittle in this game. But Brock started with a bootleg to the left. He just ran off the corner, and what do you know? Here comes Deebo, little catch and run for 25 yards. He rolls right on his second play. That was an incomplete pass. A screen to Deebo, who gets some real nice downfield blocking from Brindle and Juwan Jennings. And what do you know? There's a 14-yard game. Then Juwan Jennings with a nice catch for a first down. Ty Davis-Price, again, didn't do very much, but I like him as a running back. He missed a block, though, that gave up a Purdy sack when they got down to, hey, let's score a touchdown time, and they didn't. But, man, Purdy to Ayuk on that slant that got the 49ers down to the 2-yard line. It looked good. It really good. He executed 4 of 5 for 65 yards. All 4 of Purdy's completed passes were for a first down, and a 10-play, 69-yard drive is how his night began and ended quickly. Kyle had seen enough, and if you were in the stands, you were just really happy what you saw. Here's a guy who knows this offense is built around a quarterback just executing the play. It's not built around the necessity of a quarterback being excellent and superior and the best player on the field. It's not that offense. That's never the offense that Kyle has run. Just execute what's given to you. And Brock Purdy does that, and he does it well. He does it with aplomb. He's a yes chef starting quarterback, which is why Kyle likes him. He just wants someone to fill the order, fill the bill out. And we saw Purdy do just that. Again, Sam Darnold showed us a little bit. We knew that he had a big arm. He's got one. Shanahan trusts him. He just trusts the guy. I think he trusts him with what he needs his quarterback to see. And this is where Trey Lance is still failing himself a little bit. He doesn't see everything on the field that Kyle needs his quarterback to see. You know, there are wide open receivers that the minute they're open, you got to get that ball out. And he's got a little paralysis by analysis, does Trey Lance, which is okay. He also at times thinks, man, I got to make a play. Like I'm fighting for my own spot on this team, my own professional reputation. So Trey Lance gets a little, I don't want to say loose or irresponsible with the ball, but he's out there forcing a few things that maybe Darnold and Purdy aren't. But he looked good. Again, he looked good. And I'll say this about Darnold. He moves well for a guy who doesn't have a reputation of really moving well. And when you heard in the broadcast that he's got, 13, 14 career rushing touchdowns, it's all right. Okay. Other players who really flashed in the game, who looked good in the game, we got to start with Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell looked really good, and I kept on calling him Deebo Light, and sure enough, Dave Lombardi came out with a story just late last night or early this morning where he said that Deebo Samuel has really taken Ronnie Bell under his wing. The rookie calls it a big brother relationship. Well, there is an awful lot of looking like, smelling like, playing like Deebo Samuel going on with Ronnie Bell. He did get a ball punched out on him. The Niners recovered that. Can't do that. He did let an interception go straight through his hands and off his helmet. Doink. And that was the interception that Sam Darnold threw. It was really more on Ronnie Bell than it was the quarterback. But man, Ronnie Bell acquitted himself well in preseason game number 2, which is good for him because life is timing. And the timing of Danny Gray's injury opens up more of a possibility for Ronnie Bell to be on this team. Not that there was a possibility that he wouldn't be on this team, but maybe. You never know. You can get lost in the sauce unless you really stand out. He had a standout game. He also played well in a game where very few 49ers played well in Las Vegas, so that was good news for Ronnie Bell. Danny Gray is now out multiple weeks. Bad news for Danny Gray, good news for Ronnie Bell. Danny Gray hurt his shoulder. The good news is it's not a broken collarbone as they originally feared, so he's going to miss a few weeks. Meanwhile, Ray McLeod's wrist surgery is not helping him return anytime soon. More opportunity for Ronnie Bell. Deshaun Jameson muffed a punt on Saturday. He had a good game as a corner, not necessarily great. Again, this could be more opportunities for Ronnie Bell to put his hands on the ball and see what he can do. The guy runs with some stink on him. He really did. He looked good. He looked really, really good. That's the sip of the day. There it is officially right there. Right out of the Ike's mug again. Still living dangerously with the uncapped mug. Look at us. We're nuts over here. Other guys who stood out and looked good in the game, for sure. D. Winters and Jalen Graham are two young middle-of-the-field linebackers who look good. I mean, not that you want to see a world where Fred Warner or anyone who's important gets injured, but man, they got depth at linebacker, and this isn't even counting Marcelino McCrary-Ball, who continues to look good and play well. They got to be happy with what they're seeing out of this defense. And again, the defense can't even really flash its teeth right now because Nick Bosa is not out there, and he is such a game changer. Jalen Moore, Nick Zakelj, John Feliciano, Jason Pope, and Matt Pryor. Let's step it up, boys. I don't know anything more to tell you. There are times when you start thinking about this team's offensive line. If you're looking for a place to put your worries, it would be there. It would be there. One or two injuries can change this team's offensive line chemistry quickly. You could say that about any NFL room. And as, again, Larry Krueger pointed out, you're not rotating in backup offensive linemen the way that you rotate in backup defensive linemen. So it's not that much of a concern, but it could become one. Again, you start getting into your depth chart, that's when coaches begin to worry. You can go one or two players into your offensive line depth chart. After that, it's going to be time to worry. Russell Wilson. Dude, Russell Wilson, God bless him. Every single time that guy is about to be counted out, he sees a 49er uniform and he has a great game, right? I mean, Russell Wilson, there are certain players, they just see another uniform and it brings out the best in them. He still gives the 49ers fits. He was very limited last season. When he sees the 49ers, he turns into Mr. Unlimited. It's something else. Knowing when to pull the ball down and run, knowing when to make the play, knowing when to hit the open guy in the flat. Like, this guy just carves 49ers defenses up. He really does. So Russell Wilson, already looking and playing better under Sean Payton than he did under Nathaniel Hackett at any point in time last season. Something to keep an eye on there. Back to the Niners, Jake Moody missed a point after touchdown, hit a couple field goals. Again, those points after touchdowns, getting guys in between their ears in a way that I don't even think the NFL could have really expected it. Yeah, there's, it's like any shot on a pool table. When there's more felt, it looks to be harder, but really it's the same shot. It's the same shot. It's a straight in the middle of the field, just kick it between the uprights field goal that would be normally good from the 3-yard line as it is the 15-yard line, but it messes with guys. It messes with guys, and Jake Moody for his game-winning field goal, let's face it, if that thing had been backed up a few more yards, I don't know if it doesn't flirt with going directly over to outside the upright, which means if it's over the upright, it's good. But it goes outside, and that's up to referee interpretation. He might have missed that. So it'd be good to see Jake Moody getting his kicks a little bit more kicked well, shall we just say, because it really feels like he is going to be this team's kicker unless we see Gonzalez come on in and get the nod in the 11th hour, which when you draft a guy as high as they did, who's a kicker, you really don't want that to happen. Defensively, again, hard to measure what's going on out there defensively because Nick Bosa is not part of it and the starters are not all out there. Ambry Thomas had a good night before he had a bad night as a corner. He got burnt on a double move, but man, Jair Brown saved the bacon and the final of the game by making a tackle at the 2-yard line, which could have been a touchdown, wasn't a touchdown, and the Niners win by less than a touchdown. So Jair Brown continues to represent himself well through 2 preseason games, and that's all you're looking for is young players to flash the way that Ronnie Bell flashed. Jair Brown is flashing out there. I like him an awful lot. We saw Javon Hargrave, and man, what a 2-man twist game he's going to be able to play with Nick Bosa. When Bosa is signed and out there for the first time in Nick Bosa's career, there's going to be another guy to consider double teaming, which just opens up Nick Bosa to wreak havoc. Or if Nick Bosa is double teamed, man, all of a sudden, Hargrave, Eric Armstead, Drake Jackson, when you're out there, you boys should be feasting. T.Y. McGill had a good game. Every time I look up, T.Y. McGill's having a decent game with the 49ers. Another success story from Chris Kusurik, their defensive line coach. So lots going on. Lots going on with the Niners, and an awful lot of it went well. They got to be happy. They got to be happy with that game. Again, Deshaun Jameson, that muff punt, Denver recovery, that wasn't very good. Let's get it together. We got the final dress rehearsal on Friday, August 25th. The Chargers wrapping up the preseason at 7 o'clock. So it is the last week of getting everybody ready to play. Again, get Nick Bosa in. He doesn't have to play on Friday night. He shouldn't. You don't expose that guy to meaningless snaps. The same way you're not exposing Trent Williams to meaningless snaps. But get him in, get him popping, get him around his team, get him talking with Hargrave, get Steve Wilkes the chance to look at his player and go, what have I really got to work with here? He's going to be blown away by his athleticism. There is no doubt. We got, there's already an awful lot of chat going on here. Awful. We got some Club Pluce to get into in just a little bit. But some other NFL news for you. Since we're talking preseason, tonight, one of the more curious, what does it really mean? I don't know. It is impressive, yet at the same time, it's all unimpressive, because it doesn't matter. But the Baltimore Ravens have won an NFL record 24 straight preseason games in a row. They're looking for number 25 as they wrap up Monday Night Football with the Commanders this evening. 0 preseason losses for the last Harbaugh remaining in the NFL since 2015. Explain that. Riddle me that, Batman. How does that make any sense at all? What does it mean? Nothing. Yet at the same time, it's impressive. Let's be totally honest. Doing anything 24 times in a row in professional football is hard to do. Aidan O'Connell, if you are a Raiders fan, all I'm telling you is that there is a quarterback to push Jimmy Garoppolo already on your roster. I saw some of the highlights and the decisions that he made. Aidan O'Connell, this rookie from Purdue, but look, dude, 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. As Vegas won at the Rams over the weekend, he looks good enough to have Raiders fans saying, why are we sinking a year that probably isn't going that far anyway? Again, this is talking about the Raiders fans who don't assume that they're about to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of every year. So, you all know who you are. Raiders fans can be quite untethered to reality. On a team that probably isn't going anywhere significantly this year, wouldn't it be smarter to get Aidan O'Connell some NFL real action under his belt than just throw away a disposable year on Jimmy Garoppolo? Again, poor Jimmy. He's always in this situation, is he not? He always finds himself in I might be the best option now, but looking at where the team is, am I really the best option? Because you should be developing, not looking for results right here and right now. It's the balance beam that NFL teams fall off of all the time, right? Anyways, this is fun, isn't it? We're getting closer and closer to Again, look, it was great. It was great to do a little post-game, get my post-game legs underneath me again. We'll be going live this Friday at the conclusion of 49ers and Chargers in the last preseason game we have to pay any attention to. Thank the Lord. Thank God we're almost done with that, right? Want to talk a little bit about Joe Mixon. And I'm not here to relitigate Joe Mixon's life or the punch that saw his draft stock drop after he hit that woman in Oklahoma. I don't want to talk about what he did other than the fact that he was just found not guilty in an aggravated menacing case. And a story on ESPN says that Bengals running back Joe Mixon is declining to speak with reporters in his first practice after being found not guilty. Mixon declined to speak with reporters. Then he announced that he would be boycotting questions from Sports Illustrated, the Cincinnati Enquirer, Pro Football Network, and ESPN. So who's left? It's not a lot of outlets that Joe Mixon will be talking to. He feels that he's been done wrong, and the coverage about him has been biased and assumed that he was definitely presumed guilty until proven innocent, and he's not happy. Now, I don't know if Joe Mixon has led a life where he wants to start playing the let's have morality game. I look, he's a very good football player. He's a very good running back. He has in his life demonstrated some certainly ungentlemanly traits, shall we just say. You can look it all up yourself. Joe Mixon says it's not happening, citing behavior that he deemed disrespectful by these outlets. And he's got the right to feel that way. When asked what the disrespect was, I guess he said the one thing that he said was, you know who you are, or you know how I've been disrespected, as he retreated into the team's training room. He returned later to one of the team's ping pong tables a few minutes later, and I guess was playing ping pong. Look, are there guys who get slighted by a less professional than before media? No doubt. No doubt. Is there an ability to cut media just out of your equation when it comes to speaking directly with fans, thanks to social media, podcasts, and all that stuff, YouTube? Yes, there is. But if I were called by Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon today calls Damon Bruce to get a little advice how to handle this whole media situation. My advice would be don't boycott talking to the media because it's just a battle that you really can't win, even if you're winning it. Even if you're winning it, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea for his own image, where he looks very standoffish and at times petty and, like he carries grudges. And look, he might have a legitimate grudge to carry. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But I can tell you, it's bad for getting people in your tent. And that's what the media does. They bring people into your tent to consume stories about you. And those stories can either be landed in a negative fashion, which Joe Mixon obviously feels has been the reason why he's distrustful. It can also bring people into your tent in a positive fashion. And Joe Mixon probably looking for a little good publicity. Again, to do good publicity for yourself, it doesn't land nearly as much as a third party saying, this is what happened, this is good. Beyond all that, you touch the football. And guys who touch the football are those that the media wants to talk to, which means by you not talking to the media, you're putting more of the media attention that you deem negative onto your teammates. To be a better teammate, you should just stand up and deal with the media. You don't have to be overly verbose. You should call people who you think have wronged you out personally. You don't need to be Mr. Nice Guy suck up to the media. Give them the old what for. Tell them what you really think. But to just say, I'm not talking, like I'm taking my ball and going home, to me, it's never a good look. It's never a good look. So, Joe Mixon, if you call me, I got different advice than you've been given. Take it or leave it. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. A little bit of baseball. The San Francisco Giants might have picked up a game against the Atlanta Braves, but boy, they did not look good even doing that. It's not just whether you're winning or losing, it's how you're playing. And now that the Giants are in the toothiest part of their entire year, they're not playing particularly well. They are being dwarfed in terms of what a real contender looks like by the Braves, by the Rays. Here come the Philadelphia Phillies. 3:40 this afternoon. Scott Alexander is going to open the game, but it's Tuesday's game that I think you have to circle with a bit more interest if you are a San Francisco Giants fan, because that is when Kyle Harrison is scheduled to make his major league debut. Kyle Harrison is finally going to report to the bigs, and we're going to see what this much ballyhooed minor leaguer finally looks like standing on the mound of a major league team. So here we go. The Giants have almost no levers available left to get them out of their offensive funk. The pitching funk will be a bit more hopefully relieved by Kyle Harrison, what he is asked to do, how many pitches he is asked to actually throw. Is there a world where he might see a fifth inning? Like we'll find it all out tomorrow. But very interested in watching him, and his debut, unfortunately for the Giants, is more interesting than the way the Giants have been comporting themselves lately. You could tell that they were getting a little bit desperate by bringing in Duvall for a 2-inning save yesterday. They didn't want to get swept in Atlanta. They did avoid a date with Broomhilda, so congrats to them. Did you see the number 2 pencil baseball bat? That number 2 pencil baseball bat looked fantastic. Bryson Stott of the Phillies, in a Little League Classic game, the 25-year-old, in a back-to-school spirit, went with a bat that looked like the tip of a number 2 pencil, from eraser to the green metal thing that holds the eraser onto the pencil, all the way down to the bat handle, which looked like the lead in a pencil. It looked fantastic. It looked fantastic, and it was allowed because it was part of the festivities surrounding the Little League World Series. That bat was made by a Pennsylvania-based bat company, Victus. It did look like a number 2 pencil. I showed it to Gillian today. She's like, that's awesome. Let me tell you, Major League Baseball, custom design bats, do it. Allow it. Let somebody go up there with a bat with a flame job on it. Let somebody go up there with whatever they want on their bat. Again, it's your bat. As long as it doesn't violate any sort of decency or sponsorship arrangements, guys, let players show some personality in their custom designed bats. It's a great idea. Major League Baseball, you can't play well, that can't happen because of tradition card. You can't anymore. You've sold off all your tradition by allowing all these patches all over your uniforms. I don't want to hear a word about how this can't happen. Not a word from the league. Get custom designed bats out there. I love it. They looked awesome. Can't play the, traditional look is what we're going for. It's either got to be wood or black, and that's it. This number 2 pencil bat was the most interesting thing that happened in Major League Baseball over the weekend. Let players have fun. Again, there's a generation that might say, if you hit a home run, you're supposed to act like you've been there before. Enough with the staring, enough with the looking, enough with the bat flips. How about this? Maybe less guys will be flipping bats if they got custom paint jobs they don't want scratched. This is a killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Everyone wins scenario to me. Good cup of coffee today. Really is. Look, I love baseball, but man, the Giants are going cold at the wrong time. Maybe another young player infusing some life into the team is exactly what the doctor ordered. We'll see what Kyle Harrison does tomorrow, but it's not the best of times for the San Francisco Giants. Saw this story on Front Office Sports before we get into Club Pluce. Stanford has told the ACC that it wants in and will take a deal to join the conference without payment? What? Like Stanford's got money like that? First of all, if Stanford is comfortable by sending its student athletes to the Atlantic coast to play conference games, the whole illusion of making a student's life based around academics before athletics is gone and lost forever. If Stanford is willing to say, yeah, you got conference games on the East Coast, go get them, Tiger. Forget about your tests, forget about your studies, forget about your worries. That would be quite a moment, I think. Rick Sertella writes a story saying that Stanford has reportedly told California, Oregon State, and Washington State that it's informed the ACC it would be open to joining the conference with potentially no media rights payout for multiple years, according to the Associated Press. ESPN is paying the ACC $240 million per year through 2036 and doesn't have to up its spend if the conference adds schools, although it could agree to do so. The current 14 members would likely want a promise of more media revenue if it were to expand. So, okay, Stanford. Surprised. And when it comes to preserving tradition between Stanford and Cal, obviously, Stanford isn't very worried about that. Apple had a final offer to the Pac-12, but that didn't go through. And now the Pac-12 remains with 4 schools. Brett McMurphy, who does a great job covering college sports, says that he just heard from Washington State President Kirk Schultz. And Kirk Schultz says Washington State has 3 options: join the AAC, or rebuild the Pac-12, or join the Mountain West. The third option would be sort of a reconstitute or rebuild of the Pac-12, and I'll say the Pac-X right now. There are 4 members, but that could change literally in any hour. So I think with each of those, we're pursuing a parallel pathway. We want to evaluate what is going to be best for Washington State University. And man, I would just give him the advice that I would give any college chancellor right now. Do what's best for you and your students and your campus. There is no come along with me. I know the way. We're going to go through this loyalty together anymore. Like it's all dead. All loyalty amongst conference realignment is dead, gone, never coming back. Do whatever is best for you. Saw that Apple might be interested in purchasing ESPN. Apple would get rights to the NFL, the NBA, the WNBA, Major League Baseball, the NHL, UFC, and the PGA Tour, tennis Grand Slams, Formula One, and college football's Big 12 and SEC conferences, plus ESPN's first 2 Super Bowls after the 26 and 2030 seasons. All I can tell you is that, folks, it is obvious the direction the entire world is pointing in. That's why every day I don't return to radio and come down here and do a show on the internet. It feels better and better to me by the day. Feels like the only decision that would make any sense, because this is where the entire world is going. Streaming, YouTube, streaming, Apple, streaming, Netflix, streaming. It's all going there. And if this really were to happen, obviously Apple, which has money hand over fist, could afford to do the deal. Number 2, it would turn Apple into the worldwide sports leader almost immediately. And those who didn't subscribe to Apple, which is a lot of people, if you're a sports fan, boom, you're signing up for it instantly. Pretty fascinating. Pretty fascinating. We are living in interesting media times. Let me tell you, I can attest to that. So look, I don't know if there are any more interesting times in the media than when we get into Club Pluce. So let's go there. Let's get there. I hope I haven't missed anything. I hope I haven't missed any super chatting or Rob C dropping C notes. You got to let me know, because I want to thank everyone for all of the incredible support you guys continue to give each and every day here. And let me remind you once again, you get the show live on YouTube Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. You can download that show in podcast form anywhere you get your podcasts starting this Friday. Well, it actually just started Saturday, but this Friday, Postgame and Damon is officially a reality, as we're back doing postgame after every single 49ers game. So join me live on YouTube right when the 2-minute warning is happening. I think that's when we're going to go live. We're going to beat everybody to the punch. There will be some nights when we're just looking for the clock to wind down. There will be some nights where, oh my God, we're still playing football and deep in the game with the 2-minute warning. So it should be fun going through all that together. And the September 1st relaunch, baby. Rob C, I had 11-17 a few days ago. Are we still? We're really betting on sips of the day. Huh. Again, this freaking audience is incredible. It grows. We're going to be streaming on AMPs come September 1st. We're going to be able to take calls through the AMP app, and we're going to be able to chat together. It's going to be an awful lot of fun. New things are happening all around us. Plus, wait till you see the new graphics that we got getting. Oh, I mean, dude, things are happening. Things are happening, and we're really privileged to have you along for the ride. So many of you, boy, hit that like button. I'll never feel good saying that, but hit the like button. It's good for the algorithm. It's good for the people. And please subscribe. If you are watching right now and you're not subscribing, I would deeply appreciate you subscribing today, right now. You hit the notifications and you don't miss anything. I mean, you can ignore it whenever you want to. I understand you all got lives to live and you can't just like, oh, Damon, new video. I got to watch that right away. You'll just know when it happens. So, you know, there's something waiting for you at the end of the day or the next time you, I don't know, go to the bathroom. Is that when most people check their phone? I don't know. I bring my phone to the bathroom. It's the new newspaper. Thank you very much for tuning in today. We're about to get into Club Pluce right here on the Damon Bruce Show, on Damon Bruce Pluce. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. Thank you for joining me for post-game. Wherever you are consuming me, I deeply thank you for doing so. And please do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Oh, sexy Damon. All right. Where are we? Main streets. Purdy boys, the 49ers quarterback. By the way, if your text came after that, I can't see anything before that. Gould is still available, not at the price point that the 49ers have. This thing really washes me out. How do I get sexier? Hold on. Make it a little easier to see, right? It shouldn't be that much of a mystery. Better for sure. G. Martinez, Moody's got the yips. I mean, we're not there yet. We're not at the yip portion of his career yet, but it could happen. We got, Holland Tracy. I have not seen your name before. Holland Tracy, welcome. Wonderful to have you. Hit subscribe, hit like. Man, Moody looked nervous. It was palpable. Maybe, I don't know. He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be nervous. This guy used to kick in front of 100,000 people in Ann Arbor. Like, you can't put a bigger crowd in a football stadium to watch a football game than what this guy's used to kicking in front of. I will say this, though. For all the years that this team has had Mr. Automatic Robbie Gould, in a year where you got to win a Super Bowl to really feel good about yourself, going with a rookie kicker is a bold choice. Nathaniel Richards saying, man, rookie kickers make me nervous. Really hope it doesn't cost the 49ers a game. Nav. Down on Moody. Nav saying Moody's going to cost us 1 to 3 games this year. You better hope not. You better don't. T from the 203. Damon, hello from Fort Lauderdale. What are you doing up the... aren't you supposed to be a Miami boy? What are you doing in Fort Lauderdale? What are you on, spring break? No, it can't be. When I was in college, we did a spring break in Daytona, and it was equal parts fun, equal parts like it's like playing in the middle of a street. Like, the last thing you ever really want on the beach you're on is bumper to bumper traffic. Like, Daytona Beach, conceptually, very cool. In reality, you got like oil and gasoline on a beach. It doesn't really work for me. Let's see. We got people who think that I've got a dummy account and I'm making bets on over-unders. Sip of the day. I swear to God, I'm not trying to rig the sip of the day. I have integrity. New Rockin' Era 84. O'Connell looked good. He does. Look, here's the deal. If Trey Lance had at any point in time looked as good as Aidan O'Connell has looked, and just his first NFL glimpses of action, he'd be starting for the San Francisco 49ers. But he doesn't. Irwin. Purdue. Ugh. Damon doesn't like Boilermakers. Unless you're talking to me in a bar, you're pretty much right. I do like, look, I really liked Raheem Mostert. What a great guy he was. Let's see. Anyone else from Purdue I like? Nah, not really. Nah. You know who I do like? I like Trace Jackson Davis. And Gillian and I are figuring out the right day to have him over for dinner. Again, any single Indiana graduate that has ever come to San Francisco, my door has always been open. Why should it be different from? Why should it be different for an NBA player? Have him over here. Give him a little home-cooked meal. I told you. Let's go get the quarterback from Purdue. Ray Laurie at 84. I don't remember you telling me that, but I'll take your word for it. JJ Raider saying, Damon, leave me to my delusions. I would never deny you your delusions, JJ Raider. Not watching on Twitch today, by the way. Oh, this must be when I talked about how we have an awful lot of Raider fans who are just untethered to reality. Leslie. Hello, Leslie. Raider fan. So MAGA. And I'm not putting MAGA on Raider fans there, but untethered to reality, it's been a trait that has followed the Raiders and their fan base around for a while. Can Zane Gonzalez punt? Fish and chips. Here's the deal. Mitch Wisnowski, I'm just going to give him the old bad night treatment. I'm not worried about Mitch Wisnowski until he starts serving up bad kicks. Two stocked. Damon actually talking about the Raiders. It takes me back to 2016. Hey, look, man, when you do something that's actually worth talking about, when there's something afoot that is actually a topic, I want to talk about it. Afoot. Listen to me. Something afoot? I don't talk like that. Let's see. I love looking at the new names in here, starting to feel comfortable with the Plucers. Oh, man. Going on back to Jack Del Rio interviews. Reminds me of when Damon used to interview Trent Baalke. Del Rio, like Baalke, didn't want to give anything away. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Oh, Jackie Del Rio. Jack the River. Yeah, he declined questions from the Pluce. He certainly did. Pluce, go talk to Mixon. Again, look, I got good advice for him. I really don't. You just cannot win a battle with the media by taking your ball and going home. They're still going to write about you anyways. So lean into them, maybe writing something nice about you. Again, no one is so much of a gangster that they don't care what the media says. No one can ever really run that past me as a truth. Yeah, I am unbothered and unconcerned about what people and the media are saying about me. Let me ask you a quick follow-up question. Do you have social media? Because if you do, I just caught you in a lie. It's just that simple. If you really didn't care what anyone thought, you have no social media, you do not care, you're not putting yourself out there in any way, shape, or form. If you're doing it, you do care. Again, Mixon's a pretty good player. He's a pretty good player. Uncle Boys. I'm only here so I don't get fined part 2. Marshawn Boogaloo. Yeah, again, look, Marshawn Lynch, the Super Bowl that he showed up and he's just like, I'm all about that action, boss, and I'm only here to not get fined. Like, I guess that's one way to go about it. You could use this other platform to draw attention to all sorts of Bay Area or Oakland-based charities. Again, you don't have to play the mum's the word, I'm too cool to talk to any of you. When you're given a huge platform, use it for some good. Don't want to do any personal self-promotion. You don't want to play nicey nice with the media. That's fine. You don't have to play nice. You don't have to be friendly with anyone. But you got this incredible platform. You'd be nuts not to use it. Waveware. I'm not familiar with your name either, Waveware. So thank you so much for showing up. He says, or she says, I do not know. Waveware, boy or girl, unisex Waveware. Good morning, Damon and Faithful. I am happy with our quarterback room. How many times has any 49er fan said that in the last 4 years, right? You should be. Everyone played well on Saturday. Everybody appointed themselves well. Darnold, Lance, and Purdy all went out there and did what their coach asked them to do. It's all Kyle wants. And he got it on Saturday. Again, he must have gone home feeling good. Sporticus. Look, Mixon should talk to the media, but not answer questions about that. Again, look, go the full Deebo route. Know when to exercise your right to drop a no comment on a situation. Won't always be cloaked in glory, but you can do that. Players do have a responsibility to talk about the game. If nothing else, you have the responsibility to make sure that your teammates aren't being overexposed. Ooh, I had a little burp there. Could you hear it into the microphone? I just kind of burped in my own mouth. La Profesora says, I want to say it again. The Giants were projected to be a 500 team given Farhan's propensity for getting injured players on the cheap. This is exactly who the team is. Sad but true. And La Profesora, as always, your learned sports opinion shines right through the nonsense, and there's a lot of truth to it. They are, in an odd way, overachieving. And yet, in another odd way, they're underachieving. That's the frustration. That is the frustration. Fish and Chip says, Damon, how does one get out of a funk? Well, at the trade deadline, you do more than add A.J. Pollock, who is the worst player on your team the minute that you trade for him. So they had a chance to get a little bit better, but they didn't do it. Speaking of getting a little bit better, Rockin' New Era 84, that bat was dope. Absolutely. It really looked like a giant pencil, Nathaniel. You were right about that. It was great. Chef A, ballyhoo. That's a great word. Thank you very much, Chef A. By the way, at Pluce Mania 1, Chef A brought this chocolate peanut toffee crunch brittle thing. It was Chef A. Would you do me a favor the next time we meet? Would you bring me a whole tray of that? That was delicious. My mom and I destroyed the whole thing. Thank you so much. What other numbers did pencil ever have? Was there ever a number 1 pencil? Has there ever been a number 3 pencil? These are outstanding questions, Vince. I can't even pretend to make up the answer to that. I have no idea. How about Damon Bruce's face on a bat? Come on. The Pluce sponsoring a bat? Raylord saying, I would make my bat look like an eggplant. See, this is why they won't let players do it. Someone's going to want to put veins on their bat. No. You can't be up there with a 38-ounce Louisville dong. You can't have that. Although if I were from Kentucky, which thank God I'm not, I would absolutely advertise a 38-ounce Louisville dong. That's what I would call my penis for sure. Let's see here. Damon, I have that shirt. Damon is so comfortable. I am, dude. Here's the thing. I'm not a brand name guy. I'm really not. But polo t-shirts are comfortable and they last forever. They really do. They last forever. It's like no matter how many times you wash them, they still look really good. I have like 5 of the same color of every. If it looks like, geez, Damon just wore that shirt yesterday, I might have. I don't track what I'm wearing at any point in time. I am never conscious of how I actually look. Again, I wanted to be in radio. I never wanted to be in front of the camera. HR saying drop in the Polo store, Livermore Outlets. Here's the thing. My mother-in-law, Liz, keeps me draped in Polo Outlet t-shirts, and I thank her for it. She's a great gift giver. Sporticus is right about here. He's saying Stotts' number 2 pencil bat should have had some teeth marks on it to make it look even more authentic. That would be even more epic if it did have a little bite mark on it. That's great. Uncle Boys is saying, look, man, Stanford is supposed to be a smart school. What's going on? Look, if they don't care about classes or Guys showing up. Leslie, again, do you know what a year of tuition costs at Stanford? 72 grand? Whoa. Well, if that's the truth, I guess neither of the boys are going to Stanford. Gillian being a Cal grad, she's the only woman in the world who would be mortified if her kids got into Stanford. That's how much she loves Cal. We'll talk to her more about it on Thursday. Ray Lord saying Damon is absolutely Pete Rosing the sip of the day. He's not. I swear to God, he's not. Fish and chips, Club Pluce, line up. Please, no pushing. Absolutely, no pushing. No pushing. Everyone be nice. Irwin, Apple making a strong push towards content creation. Look, at what point will the Pluce just be streamed on Apple, right? Come and get it. I'll sell out right now to the highest bidder. Apple, Amazon, Netflix. Yeah, pretty much the way it's all going. Pretty much the way it is all going. Again, the minute ESPN is like, we're done with cable television might have 5 years remaining in its life. But you can feel cable TV going the way of the 8-track. YouTube making that big sports push. Again, they got the NFL direct ticket this year. Up Skills has finally reported for duty. Says you can start the show now, Damon. Thank you very much, Skills. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tiger says, Tiger Tank 06. Wouldn't Apple buying ESPN violate antitrust rules or anti-monopoly rules? No, I don't think it would at all. I mean, that's the thing. The rules that apply to the real world don't quite apply to the internet. And I don't know how they apply to streaming services, what they can own, multiple owners. I don't know. We're going to need a lawyer on that one. But I don't think so. Apple can't have Uncle Boys, I'll tell you that. I'm going to tell you right now, if Uncle Boys can sell to Apple, they should do that immediately. Post game and Damon. I'm glad you liked it. I hope you were there, Irwin. I hope you all plan on being there for every single 49er post game. It's going to be us just Club Plucing right away. UC Steve saying still waiting for Rob C to help with that PG&E bill. Hey, aren't we all? It shouldn't be all Rob C. That's a thing. There should be aggressive giving across the board. Not just Rob. We can't put it all on Rob. He's already done. Damon, you're getting new graphics? New graphics bong, baby. No, yeah, new graphics are coming. Wait and you see. I saw a little bit of a teaser preview today. It's going to be awesome. It looks really, really good. You see Steve again. Look, Damon, Apple will purchase the Pluce next year the way this show's growing. Yeah, let's hope so. Irwin saying we need a Legends Pizza take since he's got insight on Apple pizza consumption. Is Legends Pizza big down at Apple? I mean, it feels like the one account that you could have and boom, you'd be good. Vince Vargas says Kate Scott is getting ripped for her play-by-play for the Seahawks on the preseason. Was she a little bit too pro Seahawk for Niner fans' taste? I'm not surprised that Niner fans would react to that. Look, she got a paycheck coming, so she's gonna do whatever it takes to get that paycheck. Good for Kate. Good for Kate. If there's one thing I've found out is loyalty it doesn't even exist in media anymore. Damon. Does sip of the day have any cream or blackened in it? Giants Niner fan. No. Today was full. The coffee is always black, and today it's gone. Again, when the coffee's over, the show is almost over as well. Where are we? Leslie got it. I bet Damon drinks his coffee black. Indeed, I do. Postman in Capitola. Postman. Oy, oy, oy. Giants were so desperate throwing Duvall for 5 outs. Hey, they needed one. They needed one. They got one. I love Kate Scott. Wasn't that a local broadcast? I mean, that's the thing. She's doing preseason for the Seahawks. Good for her. Someday she'll get Monday Night Football. You watch. Giant Niner fan says, look, Damon, Stanford is loaded. Oh, yeah. What do they got? Like a $68 billion endowment? I worked there as a supervisory role. The endowment they receive is incredible. They don't need money. Trust me. I know they don't need money. But even those who don't need money still like to make money. And in the terms of we are going to throw any and all concerns of academia right out the window because our conference is now on the Atlantic coast. Like if Stanford were to take that deal, the jig is up. Kiko, Damon, in a fantasy football draft, who would you draft first? Christian McCaffrey, Jefferson, or other? Look, Christian McCaffrey is going to have just a monster year. If you're in a PPR league or if you get, for points per reception, dude, Christian McCaffrey could lead the 49ers in rushing yards, touchdowns, and receptions this year. Although I would take Brandon Ayuk to lead the team in receptions. I would go with Christian McCaffrey. The drop-off with him is significant. There are a lot of good receivers who are going to get fed the ball. Jefferson special. But, man, I like Christian McCaffrey an awful lot. I like getting that running back off the board quickly. Look at Leslie all over today's show, saying, it looks like we transferred our Jimmy G quarterbacking controversy present to the Raiders. You're welcome. Here's the deal. Like all the laughing that Raiders fans used to do about Jimmy G in a 49ers uniform. Whoops. Look where he is now. E. Scott Burns. Ooey pooey. IUPUI or whatever they call that now. Yeah, no one cares. Fork-tail devil P38J. That's like a security code. Breeze was Purdue. Yeah, we know. So when they had the Joe Tiller throwing it all around the Big Ten like the Big Ten had never seen before, he was really on the cutting edge of an offense that was just unfamiliar to the Big Ten. And it brought the Big Ten really into very much modern times. Joe Tiller. Didn't think I was going to get a Joe Tiller reference. Otis Bird III. Thanks, Damon, for doing the bulky voice. Happy to do it. Rich Alexander calling me on a verbal crutch. Awful lot is Damon's go-to. Do I say awful lot too often? I probably do. I say it an awful lot. He was too stoned to talk. Who, me? Joe Mixon? Who? I don't know. Was Kate a little bit too homery? I think Kate is too good to not be able to adapt to constructive criticism. Here's the thing. The only criticism that Kate really needs to pay attention to is coming from her bosses. Fans be damned. Drew. 5 bones going in the ganja jar. Thank you very much, Drew. Played hooky from work today, treating myself to a Pluce Live. Ronnie Bell ringing in at wide receiver number 4. I think you're right about that. And thank you very, very much for the donation. Appreciate you guys supporting the show very much. La Profesora. The definition of a 500 team or a player is both overachieving and underachieving all at the same time. Yeah. Whole lot of average going on. Sporticus going with burp of the day. Burp of the day. Burp du jour for the highfalutin crowd. Oh, excellent. Burping du jour. Michelle Haberman, phallic bats. You know, someone would try to come. That's a very veiny at bat. Someone would try it. There's no doubt. Fish and chips. Hey, Damon, Louisville Dong is totally another website. Yeah. Oh, here we go. A little E. Scott Burns, a number 2 pencil is towards the middle when it comes to the hardness of the lead or the graphite in the pencil and the darkness of the shade. There are 2.5 pencils as well. Okay. Look at us learning about pencils today. I like that. I know more about pencils than I did. 21. I had not seen you in here before. 21. Thank you, Deuce Uno. The Three's Company thumbnail put a big smile on my face. I will forever love that sitcom. Me too. Me too. I love Jack Tripper, one of the best TV characters ever. I love Mr. Furley. I like the Regal Beagle. I like Larry. Obviously, you know, Chrissy just bouncing all over that set. Oof. I was always a big Joyce DeWitt guy too. You outfit tracking me? I am getting outfit tracked. Dan saying, I'm sticking with Kirkland tees. Look, right now, I would be sticking with Kirkland tees myself. But again, I got a generous mother-in-law who keeps me dripping in the polos. Which is not to be confused with polo drip. T from the 203, Damon, is it worth buying the Sunday ticket this year? That depends on how much you are interested in watching an out-of-market teams every single game. If you only need Red Zone, I believe that Red Zone is now offered up independently through the ESPN Plus or the NFL Plus app, and it's allowed to be streamed on your TV as well. So there are other ways to Red Zone. And the deal about the Sunday ticket is I need to see it implemented before I can actually endorse it. Look, here I am on YouTube. Sign up for YouTube. YouTube, love you, YouTube. But when I was 2 basketball seasons ago, I was like, let me sign up for YouTube TV and see how that works. And I was watching a Warriors game, and I couldn't help but notice that the lag time on an NBA game was so significant, it meant that I couldn't be second screening on Twitter or anywhere else. Like Tim Kawakami would be like, Steph, corner 3. And then I would be watching the game, and 30 seconds later of real time, I would get that Steph corner 3. So there was too much lag time, and I went right back to DirecTV. If the Red Zone and YouTube aren't going to create this lag time, yes, direct ticket is a great thing for a football fan to have. But to me, if there is a lag time on the broadcast, it's less valuable. So I would like to see it implemented before I can endorse it or denounce it one way or another. JJ Rader said, I got in early on the Sunday thicket, got an early bird deal for $3.89. What a deal. No, I'm sure that was $389. Mike Fuss, is the show ending with this one? This show? Soon, Mike. but not yet. We have a couple more things to do. RIP Cougar Rebel says they got him hook, line, and sinker. DirecTV was hooking me up with free NFL Sunday ticket for the last 3 seasons. Damn you, YouTube TV. How are you getting hooked up with a free Sunday ticket on DirecTV? Would you complain to go away as a customer? And they're like, well, here's your incentive to stay. Either way, nice job by you. Good question here from T from the 203. Will the Pluce have better graphics than any Madden game from 2011? All I can tell you about Madden games is the biggest problem with the Madden game these days isn't the way it looks, isn't the way it plays. It's they have the same play calling screen of all the time. Half the game is spent calling plays, and it looks identical each and every year. That's my problem with Madden. Of course, in some ways, it needs to be repackaged, just modernized and repackaged a little bit. And there's only so many, leaps that you can take graphically from one year to another with any given system. It's in a tough situation. Drew saying YouTube TV is killing DirecTV like the mountain killing Oberon. What, just smashing its head like a grape? What, Cowboys fans? We had a lot about Cowboys fans. I don't know to talk about Cowboys fans. Must be trouble saying, yeah, Kate Scott is good. She is good. She's really good. Damon, what is your brand of coffee bean? I am Phil's through and through. Beyond it being the brand Phil's, I also need Filtered Soul. That is my go-to coffee bean to the point where I have it delivered to the house. 2 bags every month. There you go. Ernie says, hey, I made the trek to Uncle Boy's. Thank you again for supporting a sponsor. Got to hit up Legends Pizza. Again, Legends Pizza. We've given you an awful lot of publicity. Happy to do it. I'm not saying you got to sign up to be a sponsor, but an aggressive tip from you could be in order sometime soon. Just throwing that out there. Let's see here. I guarantee you that when Merrill Reese retires, Kate Scott will be tabbed as the replacement for the Eagles. That's going to be a really long line. It's going to be a longer line of auditions than the Sixers. So we'll see. If look at it this way, if Kate Scott becomes the voice of the Sixers and the Eagles, she's going to have to denounce any and all allegiance to the Bay Area, or they'll like string her up and pelt her with rocks in the middle of the Philadelphia Town Square. You better be down with Philly all the way through if you're going to be doing 2 teams. Can't be sauntering away for what soccer nonsense, even World Cup stuff, like preseason football. Again, I like it when people who have worked really, really hard get rewarded, not just with more hard work, but really rewarded. Postman in Capitola saying, hey, look, can't those Stanford athletes have study hall on their 6-hour flight to the East Coast? Yeah, I mean, sure, you could. But what if you got to go to the library? Oops, you're on an airplane, thousands of miles away from campus. HR says, Damon, I miss Ratto. Bring him on. Well, that was the plan. I asked Ray if he wanted to come on this week, and he said he had a particularly busy week and couldn't make it, and then didn't necessarily volunteer like another time to come on. So we'll just let that sleeping dog lie, and we'll circle back to Ray in a little bit. But I got Gillian lined up. Gillian lined up as the day of guest here on our 100th show. We're going to let you know what we've been through, what we're going through, the plans that we have for all this. So it should be a nice little hangout. We're all going to get together. All right. Oh, there we go. Come and knock on my door. We've been waiting for you. Oh, and here comes Erwin. Where the kisses are hers and his, three's company too. I won't sing anymore. None of you deserve that. Sporticus saying, Joyce DeWitt, my preference as well. I'm a Marianne over the ginger type. Strong. That's about it today. That's about it this afternoon. We got a hi, Kate Scott. Hello. Is she in here? I would love it if Kate were in here. We got to get Kate on the show eventually. We will. Oh, how about that? Legends Pizza. There you go. Love you too. $10 in the ganja jar. We'll take it. Again, thank you so much for supporting the show. Means an awful lot. Michelle, again, I appreciate you, but you don't have to pretend you love the singing. No one loves that. Again, the Pinky Manning snark, the last thing we need is my sister on here just making fun of my singing voice. That's the last thing we need. Sounded just like the original, Damon. Come and dance on our floor. And Fish and Chips is officially right about this. He knows how it all gets shut down at the end of the day, and how it gets shut down is simply like this. We thank you very, very much for supporting everything we do here. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button. That's how you take care of me. Take care of me, but take care of our sponsors as well. And again, thank you, Legends Pizza, for the publicity tax. That's what we'll call that bad boy. Thank you all so very much. And indeed, you don't have to go home, but Fish and Chips is right. You can't stay here. We'll talk to you tomorrow.